In just 41 seconds, one of Britain's most beloved TV hosts dismantled a Duchess on live television, exposing contradictions and half-truths that left viewers absolutely stunned. What started as a simple chat about charity work ended with security being called, cameras shaking, and a guest storming off set in a fury that nobody saw coming. Before we get into this absolutely wild story, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We post daily videos exposing the royal family's darkest scandals, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Last night on This Morning, the studio was buzzing with the kind of energy that only comes when a major celebrity is about to walk through those doors. Alison Hammond sat in her chair, that warm smile on her face that's made her a national treasure. The producers had been excited all week. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex herself, was coming on to discuss her new charitable initiative focused on women's empowerment. It was supposed to be a feel-good segment. 20 minutes of inspiration, some laughs, maybe a few tears. Nobody expected what actually happened. When Meghan walked onto the set, she was dressed impeccably. A cream-colored suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Her hair perfectly styled, that practiced smile firmly in place. Alison stood up to greet her, giving her that signature warm hug she gives everyone. The audience clapped. Everything seemed normal. "Welcome, welcome," Alison said, her voice filled with genuine excitement. "We are so thrilled to have you here today. How are you doing?" Meghan settled into her chair, crossing her legs carefully. "I'm wonderful, Alison. Thank you so much for having me. I've always admired your work." "Oh, stop it," Alison laughed, waving her hand. "You're too kind. Now, let's talk about this new project of yours. Tell us all about it." Meghan launched into her rehearsed speech about empowering women, about giving voices to the voiceless, about her passion for making a difference. She spoke smoothly, hitting all the right notes, using all the right buzzwords. Alison nodded along, smiling and encouraging. But anyone who knows Alison knows that behind that warm exterior is someone who's incredibly sharp. Someone who doesn't miss a thing. "That sounds absolutely lovely," Alison said when Meghan finished. "Really beautiful work. Now I have to ask, and forgive me for being cheeky, but you talk a lot about giving voices to women who don't have a platform. But there's been some criticism, hasn't there? Some people have said that you've actually silenced staff members who tried to speak up." The temperature in the studio dropped instantly. Meghan's smile tightened just a fraction. "I'm sorry, what are you referring to?" "Well?" Alison leaned forward slightly, her tone still friendly but her eyes serious. "There were those reports about staff members at the palace. Bullying allegations, people who said they were silenced when they tried to come forward. How do you square that with this message of empowerment?" Meghan's jaw clenched. "Those reports were investigated and dealt with. I'm not here to discuss tabloid rumors, Alison. I thought we were here to talk about helping women." "We are, love. We are," Alison said, that warmth never leaving her voice. "But these weren't just tabloid rumors, were they? These were actual people, staff members with names and faces, who came forward. Don't they deserve a voice, too?" "This is exactly what I'm talking about," Meghan said, her voice rising slightly. "This is the kind of attack I've faced constantly. I come here with good intentions, trying to do something positive, and immediately I'm ambushed." "Ambushed?" Alison repeated, and now there was a slight edge to her tone. "Meghan, I'm asking you a legitimate question. If you're going to put yourself out there as a champion for women's voices, people are going to ask about these allegations. That's not an ambush. That's journalism. It's a hit job." Meghan shot back, her composure starting to crack. "You invited me here under false pretenses." The audience was dead silent now. You could hear people shifting uncomfortably in their seats. The camera operators were glancing at each other, unsure whether to keep rolling or cut away. Alison sat back in her chair, and her expression had changed. The warmth was still there, but now there was something else too. Disappointment maybe, or determination. "Meghan, I invited you here to have an honest conversation. That's what we do on this show. We don't do puff pieces. We don't do PR exercises. We have real conversations with real questions." "Real questions?" Meghan's voice was sharp now. "Or predetermined attacks designed to make me look bad?" "Oh, come on now," Alison said, and there was a firmness in her voice that surprised everyone. Don't do that. Don't play the victim card when someone asks you a difficult question. You're a grown woman who's put herself in the public eye, who's made millions from that public image. You don't get to cry foul when someone holds you accountable. Accountable for what? Meghan demanded. For lies that were printed about me? For a racist institution that tried to destroy me? I'm not talking about that, Alison said, leaning forward again. I'm talking about specific allegations from specific people who worked for you. People who said they were bullied and intimidated. That's got nothing to do with racism or the institution. That's about how you allegedly treated people who worked for you. Meghan's face was flushed now. This is unbelievable. You have no idea what I've been through. None. You're right. I don't, Alison agreed. And I'm not saying you haven't been through difficult things. I'm sure you have. But that doesn't mean you get a free pass to treat other people badly. And it certainly doesn't mean you can stand on a platform of women's empowerment while allegedly silencing the women who worked for you. Allegedly, Meghan repeated, seizing on the word. Exactly. Allegedly. None of this was ever proven. Because the investigation's findings were never made public, Alison countered. Which is convenient for you, isn't it? You can say nothing was proven, but we don't actually know what the investigation found. Meghan stood up suddenly, and her microphone made a loud scraping sound that echoed through the studio. I don't have to sit here and listen to this. Actually, love, you kind of do, Alison said, not staying perfectly calm in her seat. You agreed to come on this show. You knew what kind of show this is. Did you really think you were just going to come here and give us a scripted speech without any real questions? Real questions? Meghan's voice was getting louder. You're attacking me with unproven allegations and acting like you're some kind of hard-hitting journalist. This is trashy tabloid nonsense. Now Alison stood up. And when she did, she seemed to tower over Meghan even though they were probably about the same height. Trashy tabloid nonsense. This morning has been on the air for decades. We've interviewed prime ministers, celebrities, everyday heroes. We don't do trashy. What we do is honest. And if you can't handle honest questions, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. The production team was in panic mode now. The floor manager was making frantic hand gestures, trying to figure out if they should go to commercial. But the cameras kept rolling because this was television gold, and everyone knew it. How dare you, Meghan said, and her voice was shaking with anger. How dare you speak to me like that? How dare I? Alison repeated, and now she looked genuinely upset. Meghan, I welcomed you into this studio with open arms. I was excited to have you here. But I'm not going to sit here and lob you softball questions just because you've got a title. That's not who I am, and that's not what this show is about. This is exactly why I left the UK, Meghan said, pointing at Alison. This is exactly the kind of toxic, negative environment I was trying to escape. You people are relentless. You people? Alison's eyebrows shot up. What's that supposed to mean? The British media, Meghan clarified quickly. The way you all operate. It's disgusting. The British media isn't one person, Alison said. And I'm not attacking you because I'm British or because I'm media. I'm asking you questions because you came on my show to promote yourself as some kind of champion for women. And I think it's fair to ask about the women who've accused you of bullying them. They didn't accuse me, Meghan insisted. Sources accused me. Anonymous sources. That's not the same thing. Some of them were named, Alison corrected. And even if they weren't, are you saying their experiences don't matter because they wanted to remain anonymous? Isn't that exactly the kind of silencing you claim to be against? Meghan grabbed her handbag from beside her chair. I'm done with this conversation. Of course you are, Alison said, and there was real disappointment in her voice now. Of course you're done. Because when someone asks you a hard question, you run away. You call it an attack. You claim you're being victimized, and you leave. That's your pattern, isn't it? Excuse me? Meghan whirled around, her eyes blazing. You left the royal family because it was too hard, Alison continued. And now she was really going for it. You left your family because they didn't support you the way you wanted. You've cut off friends, you've burned bridges left and right, and it's always everyone else's fault, isn't it? Never yours. Everyone else is the problem. You have no idea what you're talking about, Meghan said, her voice dangerously low. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You're right. I don't know you personally, Alison agreed. But I know what I see. I see someone who uses the language of empowerment and victimhood to avoid accountability. I see someone who demands that everyone listen to her truth, but won't listen to anyone else's. I see someone who claims to care about women, but allegedly made women who worked for her cry. That is a lie, Meghan said, and now she was shouting. That is a damn lie, and you're going to regret saying that. Is it a lie? Alison challenged. Because from where I'm sitting, your response to these questions kind of proves the point. Instead of addressing the allegations with grace or explaining your side, you're threatening me. You're getting aggressive. You're trying to intimidate me into backing down. I'm not intimidating anyone, Meghan protested. I'm defending myself against baseless attacks. They're not baseless if there were actual investigations, Alison shot back. And even if they were, the way you're handling this right now isn't exactly helping your case. You're proving everyone's point about how you react when you don't get your way. Meghan took a step toward Alison, and for a moment, everyone in the studio held their breath. You need to watch yourself, she said quietly. Or what? Alison didn't back down an inch. You'll complain about me in your next Netflix special? You'll go on Oprah and cry about how mean I was? Go ahead, love. I'm not scared of you. You should be, Meghan said. Why? Alison spread her arms wide. What are you going to do to me? I'm asking you legitimate questions about your behavior, and you're responding with threats. Do you hear yourself? Do you understand how this looks? I understand that I made a mistake coming here, Meghan said, turning toward the exit. I thought you were different. I thought you'd be fair. I am being fair, Alison called after her. Fair means asking tough questions, not just telling you how wonderful you are. Meghan stopped at the edge of the set and turned back one more time. You know what your problem is, Alison? You're jealous. You're bitter. You see someone like me, who's actually making a difference in the world, and you can't stand it. So you tear me down to make yourself feel better. The audience gasped. That was a low blow, and everyone knew it. But Alison just shook her head, and when she spoke, her voice was sad. Is that really what you think? That I'm jealous of you? Meghan, I've built a career on being genuine and kind and treating people with respect. I don't need to tear anyone down to feel good about myself. But I also don't need to kiss your backside just because you married into royalty. You're not special. You're just a person, like everyone else. And you should be held to the same standards as everyone else. I'm leaving, Meghan announced. I'm not staying here to be insulted. You're not being insulted, Alison said, following her a few steps. You're being questioned. There's a difference. But if you want to run away rather than answer, that tells everyone watching everything they need to know about you. What it tells them, Meghan said, her voice icy, is that I won't be bullied by someone like you. Someone like me? Alison repeated. And what am I like, Meghan? Go on, say it. What are you really trying to say? Meghan's mouth opened and closed. I just meant someone in the media who... No, you meant something else, Alison pressed. You had a tone when you said, someone like you. What did you mean? I'm not doing this, Meghan said, shaking her head. I'm not playing your games. It's not a game, Alison said firmly. You came on my show, made an accusation against me, and now you're trying to leave without explaining what you meant. That's not how this works. By now, the producers had completely given up on trying to control the situation. They were just letting it play out. The cameras were capturing every second. Fine, Meghan said, turning to face Alison fully. You want to know what I meant? I meant that you're so desperate to please the British public, to be their beloved darling, that you'll throw anyone under the bus to get a good story. You'll attack someone who's been through hell and back just to get ratings. That's what I meant by someone like you. Alison nodded slowly. Right. So, I'm not asking you legitimate questions about serious allegations. I'm just attacking you for ratings. Is that your position? Yes, Meghan said. That's exactly my position. Then you're delusional, Alison said bluntly. You're so wrapped up in your own narrative of being persecuted that you can't see when someone is genuinely trying to have a real conversation with you. Every question is an attack. Every criticism is jealousy. Every disagreement is racism or bullying or whatever label you want to slap on it to avoid taking responsibility. How dare you? Meghan breathed. You have no right. I have every right, Alison interrupted. You came on my show, in my country, and you thought you were going to control the narrative like you do everywhere else. But this isn't America, love. This isn't your Netflix special. This is British television, and we don't play those games here. British television, Meghan scoffed. British television is a joke. It's all gossip and lies and tearing people down. Is it? Alison challenged. Or is it just that we don't let celebrities use our platforms for free PR without asking real questions? Because that's what you wanted, wasn't it? You wanted to come here, give your pretty speech, cry a few tears maybe, and leave with everyone thinking you're wonderful. But when I dared to ask about the less flattering parts of your story, you couldn't handle it. I don't have to handle anything, Meghan snapped. I don't owe you anything. You're right, you don't, Alison agreed. But you do owe those women who worked for you an apology. You do owe the British public an honest explanation, instead of playing the victim every time someone questions you. And you owe yourself enough respect to look in the mirror and ask if maybe, just maybe, some of the criticism you receive is actually valid. Meghan let out a harsh laugh. This is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You people really haven't changed at all, have you? This is exactly why I left. This toxicity. This need to destroy anyone who doesn't fit into your little boxes. Nobody's trying to destroy you, Alison said. And she sounded exhausted now. I'm trying to have an honest conversation with you, but you're so defensive, so ready to fight, that you can't even hear what I'm saying. I hear you just fine, Meghan said. And what I hear is someone who's been given a platform to attack me, and you're loving every second of it. You know what? Alison put her hands on her hips. If asking you about credible allegations is an attack, then sure, I'm attacking you. If holding you to the same standards we hold, everyone else is loving it, then yes, I'm loving it. But what I'm really doing is my job. And if you can't handle that, maybe you should stick to your carefully controlled Netflix interviews, where nobody asks you anything difficult. That's exactly what I'm going to do, Meghan said. Because at least there, I'm treated with respect. Respect has to be earned, Alison shot back. And you don't earn it by running away every time someone asks you a hard question. Meghan was at the studio door now. A producer tried to approach her, probably to smooth things over, but she held up her hand. Don't, she said sharply. Just don't. She looked back at Alison one more time. You're going to regret this, she said. I doubt it, Alison replied calmly. But even if I do, at least I'll know I was honest. Can you say the same? Without another word, Meghan pushed through the door and disappeared. The sound of her heels clicking against the floor echoed through the studio, getting quieter and quieter until finally there was silence. Alison stood there for a moment, looking at the door, then turned to face the camera. Her expression was a mixture of sadness and resolve. Well, she said to the audience, that was something, wasn't it? There was scattered, uncertain applause. Nobody quite knew how to react. Look, Alison continued, sitting back down in her chair, I didn't want that to happen. I really didn't. I was genuinely excited to talk to her. But I'm not going to apologize for asking real questions. That's not who I am. And it's not what this show is about. She paused, looking directly into the camera. If you can't handle being asked about your actions, maybe don't go on television claiming to be a champion for accountability and empowerment. That's all I'm saying. The producer's voice came through her earpiece, and Alison nodded. Right, we need to take a break. When we come back, well, I don't know what we're doing when we come back. We were supposed to have another 20 minutes with Meghan, but that's clearly not happening now. She gave a slightly shell-shocked laugh. This is live television, folks. You never know what's going to happen. As they cut to commercial, Alison sat back in her chair and let out a long breath. The audience was buzzing with conversation, everyone talking over each other about what they'd just witnessed. The producers rushed over to check on her, but she waved them off. I'm fine, she said. I'm absolutely fine. Did I go too hard? Are you kidding? One of the producers said. That was incredible television. Brutal, but incredible. Alison shook her head. I didn't want it to be brutal. I just wanted her to answer the questions. Well, she didn't, the producer said. And now the whole country just watched her storm off, rather than address the allegations. That speaks volumes. Meanwhile, outside the studio, Meghan was getting into her car, her face like thunder. Her assistant was trying to talk to her, but she wasn't listening. She was already on her phone, probably calling her lawyer or her publicist or whoever handles these kinds of situations for her. Back in the studio, they came back from commercial. Alison had composed herself, that warm smile back on her face, though anyone who looked closely could see she was still shaken. "Well, that was unexpected," she said to the camera. "Our next guest is..." But nobody was really listening to what came next. Everyone was still processing what had just happened. Social media was already exploding. The clips were being shared thousands of times per minute. People were taking sides, arguing about who was right and who was wrong. Some people praised Alison for asking tough questions and not backing down. They said it was refreshing to see someone hold Meghan accountable instead of treating her like she was untouchable. They said Alison showed exactly why she's one of Britain's most respected presenters. Others criticized her, saying she was too aggressive, that she ambushed Meghan, that she should have been more sensitive. They said it was just another example of how the British media treats Meghan unfairly. But regardless of which side people were on, everyone agreed on one thing. It was one of the most dramatic moments in British television history. The moment when a beloved host and a controversial Duchess went head-to-head, and neither one blinked first.